Hello guys, I just wanted to make a quick video about my own painting process and the things I learned over 1 year of painting. So here on the left I have a here's the first painting I did on this iPad that was from just a little over 1 year ago. So as you can see, I made it. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I personally can't even believe I went from this on the left to the right in just over a year. So I just wanted to give my insights on what I learned and what really made the biggest impact, because I feel like a lot of people can benefit from that too. So I'm just going to talk and voice over my time lapse of the one that I drew a few weeks ago. I just did this as a test, or not even test, I don't know. I just wanted to see how it would look using like the knowledge I know now. It turned out really, really nice. But I'm just gonna go through the time lapse. So, okay, let's see. So the first thing I did was block out the shape. This is still very similar to what I did when I first painted this. I just went in and I painted the darkest value first, which was the hair and like the clothing. And then I separated the hair and the cloth and the skin into separate layers. And I rendered the skin first. And that's one of the first things that was different from the first time I painted this. The first time I had no idea what value was. Like, I genuinely was just putting down colors that I saw. But you can see at this time, like the values, there's like subtle value shifts, there's even ambient occlusion. And the way I started it was just blocking out the main shadow shape for each major landmark, like the face and the neck. Like, as you can see on the neck, there's this kind of, I don't know, like a tree root shape that represents the shadow under her neck. And then you can see on the face, I marked out the major landmarks first, keeping value in mind, like the nose and the eye and the lip. And that's something also different from the first time I drew it. The first time I painted this, I was so obsessed with trying to get it, like, the proportions right. And it still ended up being wrong, which just goes to show, like, how important proportion really is. But on this one, I was a little bit more loose. I just put in the general direction because I knew I had the like skills to change it and to fix it. Let's see. Yeah, so I was just slowly rendering and progressing the painting a little bit at a time. I think I started with the chest and the neck area, and then I moved on to the face, and I rendered it to like a decent amount until I could like recognize like the face. The character is Freyna from The First Descendant, if you guys were wondering. I don't know why I chose to paint her at that time, but regardless, let's see what else. Yeah, I also used a lot of the lasso tool. That's something I was scared of using back then. I didn't really know how, like, what was the purpose, but now that I do know, I used it a lot to create like these, like, to mark out the smaller shadow areas and cut out small, sharp corners for stuff like the eyes, the eyebrows. And I also used it a lot to get a cool shape for like these shadows in the hair and like the lighting for the hair. Let's see. Yeah, here I was just rendering the eyes. Yeah, but the main, I'd say the main fundamental that led to this progress was probably value. Because in the first one, you can see I had no conception of value. It was egregious. There'd be like the lightest dark would be I don't know what, it was just all over the place. I can't even fathom Like, even like this backpack portion, if you go back to later, you can see how much of a change that I made, even though it's just a simple object. See, I used the lasso tool. The quality is a little bit busted here, but I use the lasso tool. I also I started using like these subtle value shifts, where you just take a bunch of, you take a color, you change the hue a tiny bit, and just move the value just a slight bit so that you can see some variation in value, but not a lot to where it draws attention. And it's cool, creates this really nice smooth effect. Same as the chest area as well. It gives the illusion of skin. I think that's probably like the best area of this painting in hindsight. And another thing that I really noticed that I changed a lot in is the ability to, I'm still not too great at it, but the ability to differentiate a focal point. Because by the end of this painting, the focal point is the face, of course. I'd say like the chest takes away a little bit because of the lighting there, and it has more of the hard edges, but I'll work on it. It's still not a strong suit of mine. But as I progress this painting, you'll see that I don't put much effort into the actual, like the jacket rendering, because I know that the people that look at the painting will primarily look at the face and not the jacket. And as long as you put just enough detail, it doesn't really matter. It's like called the illusion of detail, when you just put just enough for it to be coherent, but not overdoing it. That's something I struggled with before too, where if you over render everything in your painting, there's not going to be it's going to be harder for the real focal point, like a face or like a pose, to stand out from the rest. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the background improved a little bit, but it's just mostly the brush. I'd say the background, I'm still not very good at backgrounds. Yeah, here, yeah, the implied detail, I used really subtle value shifts. You see the black and the really dark green. I also used a lot of the lasso tool to create those little light reflections. Yeah, ever since I started using the lasso tool, I've gotten a lot more confident with my shapes, and I've been less scared of creating and using hard edges. Let's see what else. The hair, not much change from the hair, but you can see these little cuts of a tiny, like a slightly less dark value. Really improved the readability of the hair. As you can tell, there's like a subtle shadows here. And the eyes were probably the biggest difference. Like in the first painting, it took me so long to even try to get the eyes to look decent, and I did not know why it looked terrible. And it was just because of the value. The value was so off, but I had no clue what value was. So it ended up looking really bizarre in the original. But as you can see here, in this one, I kept the values to the values very similar to the reference, and it reads really well. Especially the eyes too. Like the eyes, the whites of the eyes aren't actually white, because if you look at the perceived value and perceived color here, it's more close to like a medium gray, some bit of a red hue, violet hue. Yeah, overall I was super satisfied with this painting. I don't know how I managed to improve that much in just 1 year, but I think it really just comes down to sitting down, deliberately practicing, or just doing. Not enough people just sit down and do the work, or they just don't want to do the work. Like this is a result of painting over and over again. It took me like 50 probably more than 50, like hundreds of bad paintings to be able to have reached anything remotely that looks remotely okay. Like this is like the first painting in a long time that I looked at and I was like, okay, this is actually, it's all right. I like it. Like, because in the past it was really hard to just look at a painting that I did and be proud of it because it just looked nothing like the reference. So yeah, that's my advice to anyone who is kind of at the stage that I was at the beginning. Just take time to learn specific things, apply it to what you paint or what you draw, and with enough time and iteration, you can create something like beyond what you ever imagined. Let's see if there's anything else I can pinpoint. Yeah, I'd say that the highlights are more accurate as well, because I use the lasso tool. I also use the highly saturated color in between the light and the base color as a transition. And I would say that's all I can see for now. Yeah, but I hope this gave a good insight to my painting process. And oh, one last thing. Oh my goodness, because the quality was so bad, I completely didn't even mention it. But edges improved my art so much. I had no clue what they were for such a long time, but after I figured it out, oh my goodness, there's such an improvement. Like as you can see, like this cast shadow right here, or wait, is it called cast shadow? I don't remember, but I get the concept. Like this hard edge right here on the face from the light, and then down here is like soft. Right here it's like a in between. Because in the original, it was so messy because I just used the soft brush for all the shadows and just smudged everything. Like that looked terrible because I didn't understand what hard and soft edges were. So yeah, if you're still learning, I'd say focus on edges as well. Take some time to learn what they are and how to use them in painting. Because oh my goodness, that's like that, along with values, improve this painting the most. If I were to say two fundamentals or two aspects of painting that helped me improve the most, it would be values and edges. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you if you're still watching, and I'll see you in the next one.